to the AFC West Roundtable, a weekly live show featuring top-tier insight and analysis on all things AFC West. From the best creators in the division, including Denver Broncos creator Ryan, Kansas City Chiefs creator Marcus, Las Vegas Raiders creator Samoan, and Los Angeles Chargers creators Bolt Bros. Catch the AFC West Roundtable every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the AFC West Roundtable YouTube channel. AFC West Roundtable, welcome back into another episode of the AFC West Roundtable, a show brought to you by Roundtable Sports. A very interesting week here for the division. You could say it's a down week for the AFC West, unless you're a Broncos fan. You are living absolute sky high right now. Everything went pretty perfect for you for the most part this past week. The Denver Broncos sitting number one here with the AFC. If the playoffs did start tomorrow, which obviously they don't, there's a lot of football to still be played, but let's just go with it. If the playoffs did start tomorrow, the Denver Broncos would have that first round bye into the postseason. So Ryan, you got to be living absolute sky high right now. But as for everybody else, man, Marcus down there still at number 3. We heard from Marcus last week how this was a game that Kansas City really had to win for multiple different reasons. James, you went from a big win back down there to the bottom, and then Samoan, we're just glad that you're here, man. We're just glad that you're here. So let's go around the table. Let's see how the guys are feeling. Ryan, let's start off with you.
This is the best I've ever felt since Super Bowl 50, man. This is the most back we've ever been. Like each year is like, oh, we still got more proving. Yeah, there's still a lot of ways to go. Job's not finished. But like I kind of felt something a little bit before the game. You know, they have if you're watching CBS, you know, they're showing the shot of all the fans. Tony Romo was talking, you know, they're hyping this game up, and that was the first time I felt, I'm like, holy shit, like we actually matter again. Like we are actually battling for something now, and we can put the Chiefs down even further and start securing our spot and making it known that those games that we won weren't flukes, and then we're actually here to win. And Bo Nix bounced back. He had a solid game. Like if you watched it, nothing like, not like a shootout or anything, but he played very well overall, and just overall great win. And this team's starting to begin to hit their stride now on all 3 phases.
And so, Ryan, I know that earlier on in the season, and obviously Bill Belichick would famously say real football starts after Thanksgiving, but you know, at one point you were sky high with how the team was playing, but then they were barely squeaking games out. They were losing games that they really shouldn't have. But now you guys are kind of at this point where, like we alluded to, you're number 1 in the AFC. You just beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And so do you feel confident about where the Broncos are trending towards, or is that still in the back of your mind where, and I'm still a little bit worried about where this offense is at?
No, they're trending in the right direction now. I think they're starting to figure things out. One of the really important things that I heard during the broadcast was Tony Romo. He said, or it was Jim Nantz or Tony Romo. They said that one of the things Bo spoke about was getting that play call in early. He wants Sean to give it to him early. And that was one of the issues that we saw all season, like this season and part of last season as well, is, you know, Sean with his personnel packages, he would take a long time, and Bo needs just like any quarterback, take some time to be able to get to the line, check to his second play if he needs to, you know, see what's going on. And a lot of the time we were getting to the line late, and we'd have to burn a timeout, even like on the first drive, just because the operation was poor. And, you know, that's going to, you know, kind of get those nerves going and make you feel a lot more pressure than there needs to be. And it was a lot more cleaned up this week. And he looked like the quarterback that, you know, we were all excited about going into this season. He's starting to hit his stride. And so is the offense right at the right moment. The only unfortunate thing is that J.K. Dobbins, we won't have him for the rest of the regular season, at least, maybe the playoffs. But, you know, it is what it is. That's football. But we still got plenty of backs to get this running game going. So that's probably the only thing. That's probably the only thing to be concerned about right now. Is just like we just need to make sure that we do have a running game. And then by December, I think late December, we'll have like Ben Powers back at left guard as well. So everything's doing well. Pat Bryant stepped up. Troy Franklin, even though he had 2 drops, he stepped up, especially on that last play to get us in the field goal range. So the young guys are starting to step up. So like nothing to be concerned about right now. They just got to keep improving each week.
Yeah, we're really seeing what these Denver Broncos are made of as each week goes on. It's going to be really the most important to see how they end the football season, right? It's kind of good to see where you're at kind of this midway to slightly past midway mark, but real football, like we always say, that's what you're starting to see at the end of November, come December. And so we're really going to see what the Denver Broncos are made of. But James, let's go on over to you, man. I mean, I feel like over the last couple of weeks, we just heard that you're in such a mixed emotions. Last week, it was finally sky high. It was, yes, we're back on track. We're seeing what this team can do against a real postseason team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then you play the Jags and it just absolute craps the bag. What is going on with this inconsistency?
Man, can we just get back to the 3-0 days of this Chargers team early year? I mean, whatever that was, let's just find a way to keep that team around, because this is absolutely the most frustrating thing. And especially the worst when you get a loss like that and you have to think it over through the entire bye week. And it just, it's so frustrating. That game, absolutely, I don't know what I saw on the field. I mean, it was incredible to see us just get absolutely obliterated on 3 levels. I mean, it was just awful. I don't know what to say about that game, to be honest. It was just an ugly, ugly, ugly game all around. So I just can't wait to get back on the field, and hopefully we could figure it out. I mean, next couple games are at home, which you at least feel better about that. Going from West Coast to East Coast is always a weird situation for West Coast teams, and it became a very terrible situation for the Chargers to be out there, and Jaguars in Jacksonville and getting absolutely destroyed once again out there. So it's tough to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus, let's go down here to you. You alluded to coming into this past game that it was a game that the Kansas City Chiefs really had to win if they wanted to at least stay in the conversation in the AFC West, but also if they wanted to still stay in the conversation, being in the hunt here for the playoffs. Talked about it last week. You guys are currently in the hunt. You wouldn't be in the playoffs if they started today, and that is currently still the case here with another loss and losing a big game in division, losing a game, especially to the Denver Broncos, who are top of the AFC right now. If you guys won this one, it could have gone a long way for your postseason chances. Tell us what you're feeling right now about your team, and more specifically, tell us what the implications are with losing this game.
I mean, we have to be damn near perfect the rest of the year. 7 games left, seven straight wins. We got to go perfect. We got to win the whole damn thing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wanted that Broncos game. Obviously, I obviously we can kiss our AFC West. We're not going to get the 10-year sweep of winning the AFC West, which is unfortunate. I really wanted the full decade. I wanted the last 10 years to be all KC on both sides. It's a great graphic to see. But, I don't know if it's a changing of the guard as far as the AFC West in general. Like, yes, this year, Denver's got it. But changing the guard, I know Tony Romo likes to be hyperbolic with his bullshit statements. And you know what? Us not being the kings of the AFC West this year, hopefully next year we aren't the team that's called by Romo and Nance every week. Let that be the Broncos. You guys can definitely take the Romo Nance games. I don't want to hear Tony Romo's mouth anymore.
Dude, he slobbers your guys' knob, man. Dude. All game. Game, he was just loving you guys.
I've been watching Bills Chiefs, Bengals Chiefs. Well, you guys will be the next team. He'll be glazing, but he sucks the shit out of Josh Allen's cock more than any other quarterback.
Yeah, he does. He does love Josh Allen. Yeah,
it's obnoxious. So I don't want to have So the one silver lining to us losing this game is not having to have Romo, hopefully, for future games. But we have him for the next 2 weeks. We have the Colts game is Romo Nance. The Thanksgiving game, the Cowboys, Romo Nance. So I'm going to have a lot of that. But honestly, this Broncos game, it's a division game. It was a close game, obviously. I'll go into the blunders when we cover the game. But that game, it was important for where a situation was going into it, right? Like, we shouldn't have lost that Jaguars game. That Jaguars game should have been ours. So, going into this Broncos game, having a loss there would have been okay. But, the fact that we needed it, and now it's gone now. I mean, it sucks. And kudos to Bo Nix for, having a game-winning drive at the end of the game. And, we have no pass rush. And we weren't blitzing Bo Nix either, because he's pretty good against the blitz. But we weren't blitzing him, and we should have. But we have no pass rush without blitzing. So and Bo Nix was able to kind of slice and dice us all throughout that fourth quarter, especially. But yeah, it was tough, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I don't want to say the downfall of the Kansas City Chiefs, but just where you guys are at this year compared to recent years. And I feel like this is just a philosophy that we see with NFL teams that not enough people talk about, to where it's like, last year we saw the Kansas City Chiefs win a lot of football games, but a lot of those games were very, very close games against good teams and close games against bad teams. And we said, when do we start worrying about the Kansas City Chiefs? But then they went to the Super Bowl and we're like, all right, I guess they're figuring it out. But then a year later, now we see them struggling. And it's not the first time we've seen an NFL team kind of run under that exact same philosophy. So maybe there's something
we got
there.
A sneak peek of it in the Super Bowl and they got clapped in it. So
we did.
Well, but that's also like a thing that, I don't know if you guys will have to deal with it because you guys are winning close games this year. But the fact that we were winning, and sometimes you don't actually get to look in the mirror when you win those games because you say afterwards, we won those games. We won them. And then you get to an Eagles game, you get just dominated. It's like, wow. So all those games we snuck by, we squeaked by. And now this year we're seeing the opposite end where we're 0-5 in these close games. And it's like, man, like we thought we could just continue to roll with what we were doing last year and going to this year with the same thing, and that's just not happening.
I think our benefit is that, like, and some of the players talked about it, is the fans and media have made it known that like the offense has sucked. So even though they've gotten the wins, the players have gotten frustrated by the amount of like criticism they've gotten. So like we're kind of forcing them to hear it.
I mean, the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs were getting killed for last year, but at the end of the day, it was like, the end of the day was like, we're getting wins, and look at our past success. We've gone back to.
Well, I mean, like even guys like J.K. Dobbins, like after the Raiders game, he was like, "We won, but that offense was like our offense was garbage, and we can't do that going forward." Like, so they know, but like luckily we are winning. I mean, that's why I think we'll experience like at least another loss or two going forward, and I don't mind it if it's at least one because we need a loss like to get that reset mentality. It feels like what it's like to lose.
We got you. Don't worry.
No,
those losses keep you humble, man. Those losses certainly keep you humble. They got to keep you on your toes there a little bit.
It'll probably be the Jags. They'll sweep the whole entire AFC West.
It'll be the Jags, one of the most inconsistent teams here in the AFC. But let's go down to you, Samoan. Just anything you want to say?
I mean, it's good to be here. It's nothing new. I mean, speaking of tough seasons, I mean, we're here. We're chilling. We're having a good time here. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I've said it in a lot of different games. It sucks that I feel like I'm the one over here always crowing, talking about this team and how bad they suck. At least a lot of you guys got more than 2 wins, so that must be nice. Anywho, it's the same damn team. We had the primetime game, and of course, I was at the game, and a lot of Cowboy fans. We expected it, but at the end of the day, I just wanted them to be competitive or at least maybe even win this game. But it was even worse than that, and we had to deal with it all night long. And of course, everybody's putting their pitchforks up, and I don't even know what the answers is right now. I mean, who do we fire? I just know for a fact that at the end of the day, we could just blame Geno Smith because I think that's the whole reason why the season hasn't been going well. And I'll save the rest for later. But yeah, it's been tough so far. But we're here. And
so is that trade officially a fail for Geno Smith? Are you looking back on that like why we do that?
Well, yeah, no, looking at it now, yeah, it's like why the hell we even do it? But at the time, I totally understood it, and I thought that he was a capable quarterback coming over here. I mean, heck, I had him as the second best quarterback in the AFC West, but damn, that shit looks stupid now. But it is what it is,
Damn right. Told you.
Hey, don't kick me while I'm down, man. I'm crawling at it right now. Come on, man. But it is what it is, though.
It is what. Do you think that firing Pete Carroll is in the cards, or is this just a situation where it's it's on the quarterback?
Yeah, a lot of people would think so, but I wouldn't even want to fire Pete Carroll as bad as it is. I mean, Chip Kelly, I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't fire him just yet because I said it before many times. I even tell fans that try to tell me, "Oh, we need to fire him." I was like, "Bro, we can't keep firing and hiring coaches and expecting different results," And I'm just tired of the whole rebuild. I mean, I don't mind rebuilding if we need to do that, but with the same, the same core that we have right now. But that's just me, though.
Please keep Pete Carroll, please.
Hey, trust me. Hey, the table's gonna turn, man. Not this year though. But
Chip Kelly don't belong in the NFL, man. I'm really starting to believe he just don't belong in the NFL in any way, shape, or form. Good in college, stay in college, but in the NFL,
that's just kind of tough because like I want to fire him, but there's like I want to see Chip Kelly with a different quarterback. And see if it's still trash or it's just Geno Smith, because there's a lot of plays where receivers are open or we just don't got time in the pocket or Geno's just not seeing guys. So I don't know. It's just all over the place right now.
Hey, man, don't get a quarterback in 2026, 2027. That's where the quarterback class is in the draft, man.
You don't think Mendoza nice?
I do like Caleb Mendoza. But at the end of the day, I think it depends on what pick the Raiders have, because he could be a hot commodity.
Number one. Number one.
Hey, if you get the number one pick, then hey, there you go. Then you're already solidified. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into these games. But before we do so, I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of the video over at Sleeper. Use the promo code you see on the screen, RTS, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And I want to kick this week's parlay on over to Marcus. Marcus, you guys obviously playing a big game that has a lot of implications for the AFC in the Indianapolis Colts, who are coming off of a bye week. And so I want to kind of get your thoughts here on this one, on some of these lines. What do you think about Travis Kelce over or under 49.5 receiving yards?
Over. The Colts have been pretty bad against the tight ends this year. If you look at most of their games, most of the tight ends are getting about around 40+ yards receiving against them. And Kelce, tight end 2 this year. Everyone said he was washed, and look what he's doing this year. I like Kelce over 49.5.
What do you think about Patrick Mahomes over or under 271.5 passing yards?
Colts are bottom 8 pass defenses this year. I think after the game that we had last week, I'd like to think that we have a backbone, and I'd like to think that our offense will be clicking this week. So yeah, I'll go over 271. Yeah.
All right, and let's see. What about this one? Rashee Rice over or under 74.5 receiving yards?
Man. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, he had like 6 for 30 last week. Didn't really get targeted a lot in the second half of that game. I do. Yeah, I mean, if Mahomes has 271, it's going to be because Kelce and Rashee Rice have more than a good amount. So yeah, I'll do that.
All right, and let's do the final one here, kicking it on over to the Kansas City Chiefs defense. What do you think about Daniel Jones, 244.5 passing yards?
Oof. Yeah, let's go over that.
You want to go over that?
I smell a shootout.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. Well, guys, this is going to be our parlay for the week. Make sure you guys go and follow it over on the Sleeper app, link in the description box below. But let's go ahead and let's get into our first game. And, of course, we have to talk about the big in-division game of the week that we did just kind of preview a little bit in the welcome section of today's video. But let's kick this one on over to Ryan. Denver Broncos 22, Kansas City Chiefs 19. Ryan, how are you guys able to remain victorious in this one, and what does this mean for Denver moving forward?
All 3 phases, man. Defense did their job. Offense did their job. Special teams did their job with that. With the game-winning field goal, big Marvin Mims punt return. That set us up for a field goal, which we should have scored a touchdown on. And then defense just giving Patrick Mahomes hell, picking him off. Jaquan McMillan. He should have had a pick 6 right before that. But that was a BS call on Riley Moss. But whatever, man, whatever. But ball don't lie. He threw a pick on that drive anyways. Then we went and scored off of that pick. So I'm not going to complain there. But, offense finally started to give the defense something to work with. Give the Broncos defense, some time. They stayed out there, I think, what was it, in the third or the fourth quarter for like 7 minutes, giving them some rest. Putting together some nice, solid drives, going down the field, scoring. Bo looked super, super sharp. Right away, early in the game, you could just tell, probably after the first, in the first drive, he was locked in. He was back. And I think a lot of, going back to the Raiders game, there was like a crazy stat of like the amount of games the Broncos played in like 44 days. I think it was like 6 games or something, just because of like London, and then they didn't get a break right after London. They played a lot of games, and they were clearly gassed in that Raiders game, and I'm not just going to make that as an excuse, but like that was a lot of the talk with the media, talking to the players and all of that. And having that mini bye right before the Chiefs game definitely helped the players a lot, and everyone was juiced. The fans were going ballistic. That was the loudest I've seen that stadium since like the AFC Championship game 2 years ago or 10 years ago against the Patriots. And yeah, overall, like everything was clicking for the most part. I know it was still like a low-scoring game and all that, and then just fourth quarter, Bo showed up, led the team down the field when they needed to. I didn't have a single doubt in my mind. When we had the ball, I knew what was happening. They've done this before, and I just knew. I got flashbacks, good flashbacks last year against KC, in KC, when Bo drove us down the field. He did that same exact thing. We got to the same exact yard line for the field goal, but this time we had everything secured to not let Alex Forsyth get bulldozed and get pushed over for a blocked field goal. And they kicked the field goal. It was good. And we won another one, man. And now we're at the top. And I just want to point out that I'm really impressed by this defense being able to hold it down while Pat Surtain has been out for the past 3 games. I thought we'd at least lose one game. Like I thought at least one of them. And he was out. Alex Singleton was out, and he's the main communicator on the defense. And everyone just showed up and balled out, and guys stepped up. And I think that really just shows like the depth that we were talking about early in this offseason, the depth that we have on this team now with some of our draft picks. And with like Jahdae Barron, he was going to have that pick 6, which was really just a terrible throw by Mahomes. But overall, man, things are great right now, and we're at the top, and we got to keep things rolling. And now we got a bye week, so some guys can get healthy. Alex Singleton can come back, Pat Surtain can come back, and maybe a few other guys as well.
Well, let's go ahead and let's kick this one on over to the other half of the game. Marcus, what were your thoughts?
So he talked about 3 phases of the game, and I agree that the Broncos dominated the 3 phases of the game. Special teams is the one that people aren't talking about. It's obviously not the sexy one that people like to talk about, but our special teams has been a complete and utter disaster all season long. And that game was in every facet of everything of the special teams was a disaster. Bucker, one of the kickoffs doesn't get in the landing zone, so it's a penalty. They get the ball at the 40. The first punt to Mims. Mims almost takes it to the house. Blocked PAT. Our return game, no one can block a soul for Remigio to get get anything going there. Just top to bottom, an absolute disaster. Dave Tobe, I know a lot of many Chief fans are saying, "Oh, Chiefs need to blow it up, fire Andy Reid." We need to fire Dave Tobe. Get him out of town. I mean, he's been a disaster for the last a few years. This year, it's just everything's unraveling. It seems like guys just don't give a shit on special teams. I don't know. Go to the practice squad, find some guys that come in. And I know it's not the big thing, but that stands out. I mean, that PAT, we go up 20-16 there. Yeah, then who knows? Broncos may instead of kicking a field goal to tie it, maybe they want to go for 4th down and try a score. I don't know, but little things like that. I also find it kind of ironic, right? And it was an offensive lineman too that blocked it, I believe. Is that right, Ryan? The guy who blocked it.
Yeah, Frank Crum. Yeah, he was an offensive lineman.
6'9" offensive lineman breaking through there with our starting right tackle, Juwan Taylor, who had a horrible game. I mean, just staying straight up. Dude, what are you doing, man? It's just awful. I mean, like, just so bad on so many levels. It's not the ultimate reason why we lost, but those adding up on special teams, I mean, just altogether was really bad. And then offensively, wasn't Patrick Mahomes' best game. And I was expecting, and a lot of Chief fans were expecting, to come out of the bye week with a nice game script by Andy Reid. And at first, throughout the game, I remember being upset about Andy's first 15. But last night on our show, we kind of did a deep dive on that first drive. And honestly, man, like they were there. The second play of the game was a bomb to Xavier Worthy. Mahomes just misses them. And I wanted to blame it on Mahomes at first by just kind of being off target with that because he's had issues with being on target with Worthy in the past. Worthy slows down. Worthy on coming out of his break just kind of slows down, throttles down a little bit, and then tries to speed up to get the ball at the end. I mean, it was there. He scored on our first drive there. It's a different ball game. Ifs. But for me, it's like I dogged Andy Reid for having a bad first 15, but actually, I mean, it was there. And then the next play, he had a shot to Tyquan Thornton. Tyquan Thornton slowed down. That could have been there as well. So, like, I'm not going to knock Andy and be as hard as Andy as a lot of Chief fans are, but Patrick Mahomes had a really bad game. And yes, there were bad play callings throughout the game. 3rd and 2, Kareem Hunt's not even in there, where he's, success rate has a higher success rate than the tush push does this year on first down conversions on short yardage gains. So, yeah, there was questionable play calls throughout the game, but I think for the large part, I don't think it was as bad as a lot of people are trying to make it out to be as far as Andy Reid's play calling. And then defensively, I saw a stat here, and this is just like kind of tells the whole story. I think the defense did enough to keep us in the game. I mean, like that Marvin Mims where he almost house calls it. Defense, bend don't break. They held him to a field goal in the red zone. That could have easily been up 10-0 on us, but no, 6-0. Defense did their thing. But this is at the end of the game. This is a stat that I saw, which is really staggering. We can't get a pass rush, and if we don't blitz, we don't get a pass rush. In this game, we weren't blitzing because Bo Nix is actually pretty decent against the blitz this year. But my thing is, if you have more dudes in the secondary, why are they finding so many holes on us? That last drive of getting these 3rd and 10s, 2nd and 8, I mean, just unreal. But this stat was interesting. So the times the Chiefs have allowed a 3rd and 10 or more to be converted in a 1-score game in the fourth quarter. We've already allowed that 4 times this year. Last year, we didn't allow that once, a 3rd and 10 or more or longer in a 1-score game in the fourth quarter. 2023, we allowed it 2 times. 2022, we allowed it 3 times. So we've already allowed it more than we have going back all the way back to 2018 this year. The season's not even over yet. So just pretty awful, to be quite honest with you. This is one of the first games in a while where I couldn't really find a silver lining, like outside Travis Kelce looking like a stud still at 36 years old. He's a tight end 2 in the league right now. He came to play. Kareem Hunt came to play. And these are the guys who are the ancient dudes in the team. And they came to play this game. Chris Jones also did a really good job on the defensive line. The guy's getting triple teamed all game long. Somebody else who's one-on-one has to win their matchup. Somebody's got to do it. Omenahu's got to do it. Derek Notty's got to do it. Someone's got to do it, and they continuously have not done that this year. And also, as far as the play calling wise, when Kareem Hunt is running about 4.5 yards per carry, run the damn ball with him, man. 13 carries to 45 pass attempts in a game where it was neck and neck till the end. I don't understand how Kareem Hunt wasn't getting more totes in that game. It's been an ongoing thing in Andy Reid's career. But last 2 weeks, against the Buffalo Bills, he had 11 carries. He was averaging 4 yards a carry. And then this game, averaging about 4.5 yards a carry on 13 carries. The first 2 drives of the game, he only carried the ball twice, 2 for 14 yards. And just, again, it's the Andy Reid's MO not to run the ball, but give me somewhat of a balance here. I know people say, oh, well, we should trade for Breece Hall. We should have done that. Wouldn't have mattered because we would run the ball 13 to 15 times with him. That's not enough. And I'm not trading a 3rd-round pick for a half-year rental who said we're only going to run the ball 13 times with him. Jawan Taylor was probably like the guy, the MVP of the game in a bad way as far as being awful. I think they should honestly think about putting Jalen Moore at the starting right tackle. Josh Simmons came back after a 3-week hiatus, looked phenomenal in that game. I know some Broncos fans want to say, oh, yeah, he held a lot during that game. I mean, look at a lot of tackles in the league. They hold. Josh Simmons held it down there in a very big test against Bonito and the fellas. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, man. Pretty disgusted with how that game kind of went in every facet and every phase. But kudos to the Broncos. Another fourth quarter dub. And I know I said a lot there, but disgusted.
Love to hear it.
You know what? It's understandable what Marcus is feeling too, right? Just kind of going from, all right, you go to the Super Bowl every single year. You were even there last year, despite, like we were alluding to earlier, some of these very, very close wins that you had in 2024 to just coming here in 2025 and not just lose the AFC West, but potentially not even make the playoffs. That is a very, very big deal. But let's go on up to James. James, what are your thoughts when watching this game and just seeing the implications that are occurring now for the AFC West?
Welcome to the party, Broncos, and beating the Chiefs. You got it. You figured it out, guys, for once. And that's a good thing. You know, I said if the division's going to get pulled away from the Chiefs, the Chargers and the Broncos need to find a way to beat them. And, you know,
and the Raiders.
Hey, and the Raiders could find a way to upset them on week 18, right? So, hey, you never know. That would be amazing if that happens too. But bottom line, we needed to find a way to have inter-division teams find a way to beat the Chiefs to really allow this division to be under whatever other team it's going to be. I'm going to not include the Raiders in that. I don't think the Raiders are close to win the division at this point, but Broncos Chargers would have a chance to basically take the division. So congratulations, Broncos, to make that happen and giving a nice lead now to basically take this division. But the big thing, Ryan even alluded to it. Hey, Broncos need to figure out how to get a run game. I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of a one-dimensional offense at this point too with this team. And I think with the loss of J.K. Dobbins, I think he's a great running back. Dude, I knew was going to get injured at some
I
point.
mean, you can't blame that on him though. Like,
No, of course.
Like if you saw the tackle, I mean, it's amazing that he even finished the game. I thought his knee should have been gone after that tackle, and he was still taking snaps. It's like, oh shoot, he must be fine. So
totally. But I mean, that's what happens. Is the NFL, right? It stands for not for long. You know, at some point you're going to get injured, and everybody's dealing with injuries and everything too. But losing J.K. Dobbins and having R.J. Harvey be that guy, I mean, 11 carries for 30 yards is not good. McLaughlin 6 for 19 yards, not good. But Bo Nix made the timely throws when necessary, and that's really what you want to see from your quarterback, and he did a good job with that. Now, I will say, you know, Will Lutz basically hitting 5 field goals, only you guys having 1 touchdown. 5. I'm not a big fan of seeing a lot of field goals. I understand you take the points when you could get it, and you understand the opponent that you're playing, but I think that could really hurt you if you don't start scoring touchdowns in the playoffs, because you got to find a way to run up that score and not take 3 all the time. That's my opinion. We'll see what happens. Now, for the Chiefs, they're now 1-5 versus teams that have a winning record. It's quite a contrast like we talked about earlier on. You know, they've been winning a lot of close games all last season, which was in a lot of weird, odd ways last season. And this year, they're just not beating the good teams now. And that's a problem for them. And that's why they're sitting at 5-5. Now, records-wise, there's only 2 teams in the NFL history that's won a Super Bowl with a 500 record this late in the season. And that is the 2001 Patriots at 5-5. And the 2011 Giants at 7-7. So it's going to be a tough road for the Chiefs at this point. I mean, Marcus talked about it. You got to play perfect at this point. You can't lose a game, and you have to basically win out for the rest of the season. But once again, congrats to the Broncos for a big dub. And hey, we're not too far behind you guys. Anything's possible here. Anything's possible.
It's true.
Hey, Marcus, the door isn't locked yet, man. The door is still a chance. Look, this is what I always say. When you have what will be a top 5 quarterback all time, like no debate, Patrick Mahomes will be a top 5 quarterback all time. You can never count them out. You can never. It's the same reason you wouldn't count out Aaron Rodgers. You wouldn't count out Joe Montana. You wouldn't count out Tom Brady. So, man, until they are officially dead, you never count out the Chiefs. But, Simone, let's go on over to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, big game, big win for the Broncos, too. I was surprised because, of course, I had the Chiefs winning it only off of the Thursday Night Football game and, you know, just how bad we looked and the Broncos looked. But to see them come out in this game and just continue to prove that no matter what, I mean, they can have ugly wins or nice wins. They're still winning at the end of the day. And, you know, they continue to show why they got one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Got to Patrick Mahomes multiple times in this game. Shout out to Jaquan McMillan. Big game from him. Interception, 2 sacks. So that was huge. And, of course, going into the fourth quarter, Bo Nix continues to do it over and over and over again. No matter, I mean, I don't think he's elite, but when his number is called and you need him to come through, he comes through. Big third down conversions for them to beat a Chiefs team that, you know, I thought could have won this one. But, you know, at the end of the day, they came away with the win, game-winning field goal. Who knows what happens going forward with the Chiefs? I know in the beginning of the season, it was like, you know, I'm not going to count them out yet. But at this point of the season, anything can happen. And like Marcus said and everybody alluded to is that they got to play perfect. And this is something that they're not really used to, especially for the past couple of years. But it's going to be interesting to see how the AFC West shapes up after this week and seeing who might come out on top. Because at the end of the day, man, it ain't over. And, well, I think it's over for us. But at least for you guys, it's going to be kind of interesting to see.
Fun fact, the last time we were 5-5 was 2015, where Alex Smith was the quarterback.
Wow.
We won 6 straight to make the playoffs. And that was Alex Smith, not Patrick Mahomes.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a crazy year. Was that the same year you guys played the Titans and it was the
we played you guys in divisional round in that year and lost.
Now I'm thinking of a totally different year. I thought that was I was thinking of a totally different year. That was like the batted pass and it went back into Mariota's hand.
Oh, Marcus's,
that was
thinking of that game, man. That was one hell of a game. I'll never forget that game. But before we get on into the next one, big shout out to Accelerator, $2 donation. Said I'd rather have the 5 of you on the Raiders O-line. Hey man, put me at any position.
Hey, at this point, man, we need to run tryouts out here, man. We need somebody to block out.
Tell me the time and the place. I'm coming. Give me the vet minimum.
Give me that contract. I'm in.
Give me a vet minimum.
I'll show you what a tackle looks like. Congrats on your Super Bowl. The Chiefs play in actual Super Bowls. Damn. All right.
Oh, that's
A little
good.
bit
That's
of
a good
internet
one.
Broncos fans there.
That's
Okay,
good.
okay.
Nice.
Chirping in the chat. I like it.
Good
Matthew
stuff. I like
comes in here
that.
with a $2 donation. Says, stop wasting Herbert's prime years. What do you think
Agreed.
about that one?
Agreed, man. You know, and that's the thing. Like, he's been going through so many different head coaches, so many different offensive coordinators. Everybody's jumping on Greg Roman too. I didn't like the hire when we brought in Greg Roman in general. He's had a pretty bad track record in the playoffs outside of his Niner years, and he's just kind of a weird offensive coordinator, just not taking the best situation for the offense. Like, for instance, like, our offensive line is just absolutely decimated. Play jumbo package, just put meat on the line. Ogre package is what I like to call it. And just put as many guys as you possibly can on the line, 2 tight ends, and just help out Herbert, man. He's not doing that. It's like every now and then he does it, and it's just frustrating to watch, man. Frustrating.
Sounds like a quarterback we used to have.
Ooh, which guy? What, 25 different quarterbacks? I don't know that you guys have had.
The one that we had for the longest, dog.
Derek Carr? Are you talking about Derek Carr? Is that who you're talking about? Oh boy.
Well, you could also, too, just bring in an extra offensive lineman and classify him as a tight end. I mean, that's what the Patriots iconically do. Like, it's not that difficult. The jumbo package, right? But you guys let us know about this game in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and let's transition on over to the next one. And James, I know you don't want to talk about this one, but I think there is a lot to talk about when you get blown out by the Jacksonville Jags. And so 2 very inconsistent teams, 2 teams that could be in the playoffs representing the AFC. But 2 teams that'll have a dominant win one week and then they'll get blown out the next week. And so this really was the battle of the inconsistent teams. What happened in this one, and where do you go moving forward?
Man, you know, the bye week is timely set for the Chargers because this is a good one to kind of reset the team a little bit, get this team rolling in the right direction. Hopefully, like I said earlier in the show, we got 2 games at home after this. So that's a good thing to be able to at least set our feet back in LA for once. But when I watched and I actually turned this game off early because it was just, why am I watching this game? Why am I wasting my time at this point? But it kind of reminded me, you know, when you're at work and you're like, oh man, my vacation's coming next week. Oh, this is great. Like, I can't wait. Now, all of a sudden you're at work talking to your buddy over here. You're on YouTube. You're just not focused by any means. That's what that felt like to me. Like, you're just tapped out and you just are waiting for that vacation. And maybe that's kind of what the Chargers were doing. Like, hey, we got a bye week next week. We're good. We've been the most traveled team in the NFL. Just everybody didn't care. Everybody looked completely flat and just did not want to be there. And what's frustrating is the losses where you just get completely destroyed, and versus like the wins where you just kind of win ugly. Like, winning ugly, yeah, it's a win still, but do you really feel like you won it? Versus like, all right, we just got smoked. Why did we even show up? It was just ugly all around. Herbert had his worst game of his career, 10 of 18, 81 yards, QBR of 17.8, awful. He had average time to throw at 3.10. He still had plenty of time to do it. And there was a lot of times he just seemed like he held back on throwing the ball, and he just seemed very hesitant to do anything at all too. We only had 3 total offensive plays in the third quarter. They just let the Jaguars do whatever they wanted to do. You know, funny thing that Justin Herbert had one of his worst games of his career when we gave Aaron Rodgers his worst game of his career last week. You thought you could probably keep that going. You got the team going in the right direction, but no, and guess what? We suck again, kind of thing. Oh no, we suck again. Name the movie, guys. As an offense, we only had 8 first down all game, which is awful. I think we only had 9 drives too, which is even worse to even look at. We gave up 30 first downs to the Jaguars. They just basically ran the ball the entire time and just made us look terrible the entire time. Bottom line, just no desire to play at all throughout the entire game. You know, tinfoil hat here, guys. I think Vegas was calling that. Did Simone Raider, did you make the call or something over there? Because it seemed like Vegas was calling. They did not want the Chargers to win this one because then they'd have a 91% chance to get to the playoffs. And I guess 79% of the money was also on the Chargers too. I don't know, man. It's a weird situation, but I was okay with the loss in a sense because I kind of was okay with just going and splitting the last 2 games before the bye week, but it would have been nice to find a way to get a win on this one. Unfortunately, you got kind of this is the time of the year you need to play your best, and we're not playing our best by any means. Hopefully the thing about it is with this bye week, you're going to get Omarion Hampton back after the bye. It seems like he's trending that direction. Hopefully the offensive line can get gel a little bit better all around too. Going back to what I was talking about earlier, this has been a brutal season for the Chargers for the travel side of things. They also started the season 3 weeks early. They had the Hall of Fame game. I don't know if that's all a reason, but I think maybe just the players might have been completely gassed. And so, like I said earlier, maybe they were just checked out, wanting to go into the bye week. I don't know. I'm just trying to make excuses. I just want to move on from that game. And I hate that we have to sit there and think about that game throughout the entire bye week. So ugly game all around, guys. I hated watching that game. That was a waste of time.
Those are the worst types of games, man. And especially if you're like a content creator like us, if you do live watch parties, you do post games, like you really don't have a choice but to sit there and watch the entire thing and say on an hour show after the game, after you got blown out, yeah, we sucked. And this is 20 different reasons exactly why. I mean, it really gets to your mental state. But Marcus, let's go down to you. What were your thoughts on watching just a blowout against the Chargers?
I mean, we saw the offensive line. We talked about that over the last few weeks about the offensive line being problematic with the amount of injuries they have, and most teams would look like that if they had the amount of injuries they have on the offensive line. The one thing too that kind of stood out to me a little bit was the not being able to stop the run. I mean, Tootin and Etienne kind of had their way with the run defense, and I mean, what stood out to me a couple weeks ago when you guys played the Vikings. I mean, you guys look like the most stout run defense of all time. I don't think the Vikings even got like many positive yards in that game for rushing the ball or doing anything in that game, really. But I mean, yeah, it was just I felt bad for Herbert he was just getting dominated. I mean, I think there was like a good 8 minutes left. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was like 8 minutes left when they put Lance in.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I don't know, Herbert's not hurt. He's like they want to save him because he's getting shellacked back there.
Destroyed.
Yeah, it was a tough watch. I did have the Jacksonville Jaguars defense in fantasy, so I was kind of excited about that. But yeah, as far as the game wise, I mean, not a lot to take from it other than that the Chargers offensive line is just depleted, and I mean, if this is the state of the Chargers offensive line going forward, I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, yeah. As a Chiefs fan, the one thing I saw in that game was, okay, if the Jaguars beat the Chargers, that's good. Only if we win our game, and we end up losing, so it actually ended up hurting us that the Jaguars beat you guys, having the tiebreaker over us. So it was kind of a twofold of suckiness for us. But yeah, I mean, if that's the offensive line you guys to try it out there the rest of the season, it's gonna be rough sledding ahead for you guys. That's
and I'll even add there too, Liam Cohen, for whatever reason, when he plays against the Chargers, specifically Jim Harbaugh, like when he was the offensive coordinator for the Bucs, he just rolled us at that time too. And there's oddly enough that Trevor Lawrence has basically owned the Chargers in his 3-0 versus Herbert right now. And they've been all pretty much, for the most parts, blown out. It's like we've gotten blown out on pretty much every single one of those games. I don't even want to talk about that playoff game because I'll consider that a blowout because we sucked pretty bad in the second half of that game. So for whatever reason, it was terrible to see. I hate watching it.
In different ways too, because I remember that Bucs game last year. I mean, they kind of torched you guys your secondary wise. I mean, they didn't really torch you guys secondary wise. They just kind of like defensively dominated as well as the run game. I mean, Trevor didn't really do much.
Yep, totally, 100%.
Well, let's go on over to you, Simone. What were your thoughts on the game?
I'm not gonna lie. When I seen the score, man, I put a smile to my face. I was excited about it because I was like, "Damn, they got whooped, and we didn't even get whooped that bad. We only lost by one." But it only lasted for a couple hours till I watched my game. But that's besides the point. I think harping on what everybody else said, that offensive line is really bad, and I thought our offensive line was bad, but we have a bad offensive line and a bad quarterback. But for you guys, it's kind of tough to watch Justin Herbert to go out there and continue to look as bad. I think 81 yards in there is real bad. And I was really surprised by the run defense and how the Jaguars were just able to do whatever they want to do on the ground. What was 192 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns, whatever Trevor wanted to do, he could do. I mean, he didn't even have that much yards in the air. It was also good to see Jacoby Myers be their leading receiver in that game. So it's good that he's at least enjoying life right now on the bright side. But overall, I think it was a solid win for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I know those are probably like some of the most stressful type of stressful type of teams, not knowing which team's going to show up. But I guess the bye week comes in pretty solid for you guys. So I'm happy that you guys lost, but it is what it is. I can't really talk too much right now about that,
All right, well, let's go on up to Ryan. Wrap us up with this game before we get into the Raiders game to get into our Week 12 previews. Ryan, what do you think?
It's beautiful, man. It was the cherry on top to my weekend. I know this game was before our game, but it had me feeling so good. I was like, now our game's a must-win because the Chargers just got whooped. And what I say, was I the only person that took the Jags from last week, or did Simone take them? Because I told you the Jags were going to whoop you guys.
I took the Jags.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, you did, Marcus. But I told you, man, I knew it. Justin Herbert, when he goes into Duval, holy shit, he just shits in his helmet, doesn't he,
So
man?
weird.
And I know the offensive line is atrocious. Like that's true. But there's some energy or something under that stadium that just pulls him into football hell, and he just starts playing like garbage because hey guys, should we have the conversation? Do the Chargers need to draft a QB? Because all you assholes were saying that shit to me when Bo Nix put up like some stat line like that. And guess what? He just put up some dog shit. Hey, guess what? At least my coach isn't going to pull my quarterback out because he knows we can make a fucking comeback. You guys had no faith in that, though. Yeah, we made that comeback against the Giants. You guys said, fuck it, this game's over. No hope.
Yeah. That late in the game, nah, that shouldn't happen.
This is what I said.
Yeah.
What I tell everybody, I'd rather have a QB that I know will win me the game than a QB that's just going to put up 300-yard games and look pretty when it doesn't fucking matter. That's why I want Bo Nix.
So you're saying you want Bo Nix over Justin Herbert?
1,000%. Any day. He's proven he can win. It's already his second year, and he's proven he can win. Justin Herbert, I remember last year, there were games where like, oh, can he elevate the team? I remember people were still talking about that. It's year 4. Can he elevate the team, elevate the players? Bo's helped his team win. Yeah, we have a good defense and all that. Chargers have a solid defense as well. But I'm just saying, like, it was so beautiful after all the shit that we've had talked to us. But I'll be honest, I'm scared of the Jags, though. I am scared of the Jags. I may not think that they're the best team, but there's something about them. I don't know why. They've just beaten all three of you guys now, especially going toe-to-toe with the Raiders. It's so odd. Beat you guys, beat the Chiefs, but then go toe-to-toe with the Raiders. I don't know what this team is.
You play them at home, though. You don't play them in Duval. Duval's a different animal, man.
Yeah.
I'll say though, if you guys go on the playoffs, obviously you guys are in the running to go to the playoffs. But if you go in there and then Bo Nix loses first round once again, then you say, oh, he's at that 0-2 level again too. I mean, that's the knock on Herbert.
I'll own that. Yep. That happens.
Yeah, Derek Carr too.
Yeah, Derek.
0-2.
Yeah. Tua also.
Yeah, but that's like a lot later in his career, wasn't it?
Oh boy, yeah.
Hey, at least Justin Herbert got Madison Beer.
Right, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. He's winning. He's a winner. He's MVP because of that one.
He sold his soul for that, and he's paying for his sins now.
Yeah, he's winning. But let's go ahead and let's get into the final game so we can get into the previews. Samoan, the game that happened last night.
I forgot.
The Dallas Cowboys, 33-16. Man, just another L for you guys. What's your feelings about your team at this point, and just what do you want to happen the rest of the season? I feel like that's a better question.
Man, I just want the number 1 pick at this point. If we can't win it all, man, we might as well get the number 1 pick and get our quarterback. But we still got a couple more weeks, and I still feel like the Raiders will fuck that up too. But it doesn't feel good. We were on prime time, in front of like a lot of fans. Everybody wanted to watch this game. Ticket prices were up high. Of course, like I said before, I just wanted the Raiders to go in there and compete. Even if we didn't win the game, just wanted to see some competition out there. Of course, we didn't get to see that. Offense continues to struggle. They look bad. The defense can't continue to hold their hand early on in this game. Max Crosby comes through with the forced fumble, puts us right there in the red zone, 15-yard line. What do we do? What do we do? We end up kicking a field goal. And granted, heck, Daniel Carlson actually made field goals in this game, in a game that we really didn't need field goals. But offense has been horrible. And it's frustrating because we paid a lot of money to bring Chip Kelly over here to Las Vegas to help elevate this offense. And I just find it kind of funny that our offense looks even worse with a highly touted offense coordinator, a better quarterback, and Geno Smith compared to, Gardner Minshew and even Jimmy G and quarterbacks before, our offense looks even worse than that. And it's tough. And now looking back, it's like, damn, should we have fired Josh McDaniels? But, like to go into this game against a Dallas team that, of course, they got a really good offense, but it was their defense, which was the weakest link, especially their run D. And we only run twice. We give Ashton Jensen only had 2 carries in the first half. And in the game total, he had 6 carries for 7 yards. And that was good. Like, that's the frustrating frustrating thing about it. And Geno Smith was our leading rusher. That's not good news either. Defense, of course, started to get a little bit exposed later on in the game. But when you can't do nothing on the offensive side of the ball, what else is there? What else is there to do? I mean, a lot of defensive players have already come out and said that they're kind of frustrated. Adam Butler on their team talked about how frustrating it is to see that the offense is not doing their part, but the defense is doing their part. But it's the same story. They continue to like hype us up all week long, thinking that it's going to be a little bit competitive, but it's not. And it comes to a point where a lot of fans are now even wondering if we should move on from Chip Kelly, even Pete Carroll. But I know it all goes right back to the offensive line. Our offensive line isn't good, but then we also got a quarterback that can't even read the defense. And I know after the game he was talking about, just put the blame on him. And I think that's what we've been doing for the past 12 weeks so far, and what we might most likely will do moving forward. And at this point, I don't even know what we have to do. I just feel like that we have to make a different. I feel like we have to make a change at quarterback and just see what we can do with the rookies and anybody else, because it's just not working out. But yeah, it's another tough weekend. I know we're gonna talk about this next game, which I'm kind of excited to see because we finally get to see Shedeur Sanders in Vegas. But it is what it is.
Hey, man, I heard Raiders fans say all of the offseason, man, Shedeur is coming to Vegas. And you know what? You guys were right. He's not coming the way you thought, but he's certainly coming. He's certainly coming. But let's go up to Ryan. Right, when your thoughts of this game?
Raiders blow.
Okay.
Everything I've said about them is still held true to this point. You guys got to blow that thing up. Get rid of Pete Carroll. Get rid of Chip Kelly. Get rid of everybody. Get rid of Geno Smith.
Yeah. Well, Geno, yeah.
I mean, I don't know why you guys wouldn't. I mean, there's like young head coaches. Go get yourself a young head coach. Yeah, because you guys choose the wrong ones. Like, why the fuck would you go after Josh McDaniels? You saw that that was in Denver.
Everybody would have taken him because at that point,
no.
What are you talking about?
Look, just look at his history. Look what happened in Denver. Why would you guys take him?
But
that doesn't matter. You guys are no better. You're far worse. You're far more dysfunctional. At least we had good ownership, and he still sucked.
Ownership is different though. But
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean it's us? Like, we've actually won shit and done stuff. You guys haven't.
We went to the Super Bowl in 2003.
like recently, even during that time, you guys haven't done much. But hey, I mean, he's looking good now. So if you want to go back to him, go get him. I bet you're still paying him. I bet you're still paying
We are, him and John Gruden.
Yeah. You can probably take back John Gruden as well. But you guys need to get someone else. Tay Jackson, go screw yourself. Call me a lame. But yeah, I mean, I love to see it, man. Raiders holding their place. Hey, if you can, save some room for the Chiefs down there, because they could be battling with you guys for last place. You guys can pull out some dubs.
If the Chiefs are battling,
we'll take it. We need the number one pick.
I think we got a bigger issue, but James, let's call it over to you. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, ugly game. I mean, once again, I think Samoan Raider actually did a great recap. Offense is a mess. I mean, one thing I just noticed, and I wasn't watching the game, but in between, I was out and about, and looked at the stats, and I was like, did Geno Smith really throw the ball 30 times before the half, or it's like 29 or 30 something throws? And I was like, is this game over? And it's like, no, it's the beginning of the third quarter. And I was like, whoa, what is happening here? And then I looked at it, and it was like second quarter, you basically ran the ball 3 times, all in one drive. You guys were up 6-3 at a point, kept throwing the ball the entire time. It was just really like a one-sided situation here. And I was like, man, they got to get rid of Chip Kelly, because like whatever he's doing, they think that they got all these superstars as wide receivers. Like you got, like you're like the Bengals or something with these like stud wide receivers or something. It was really, really weird. So strange situation there, but I did see a couple stats on the game. It was the 15.2 points per game are the lowest for the Raiders through 10 games since 2014, and they were also at 15.2 at that point. Last time they were lower was in 2009 at 10.8 points with Jamarcus Russell as the quarterback. Yikes. Damn. That's pretty tough to see. But, and the Raiders blitzed 29% of the time, 10 of the 34 dropbacks for Dak Prescott, and he was still 7 of 9 for 102 yards, touchdown. I mean, they were still torching him on the blitz. It was just crazy to see. Weird other stat. I like looking at all these kind of stats just to kind of understand the state of the team and through the game. Teams with the most losses by 17 plus points since Mark Davis took over the Raiders in 2011. Jets, 56 losses by 17 plus points. Jaguars, I can't talk too much about the Jaguars at this point, but 53 games lost by 17 plus points, and the Raiders are 50 now since Mark Davis has taken over the team. So Raiders are down bad, and they've been down bad for well over a decade plus at this point.
Four
so
years.
Yeah, a long time. So, hey, cheer up, Raiders. Cheer up, guys. Cheer up, Charlie.
Well, let's go on down to Marcus. Marcus, wrap us up with the recaps.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, like how Jettis is not being utilized at all. Like that's the part that's the most perplexing of everything. I mean, yeah, the Raiders aren't a good team this year, but like the fact that you drafted a guy as high as you did, and you're not feeding him. And I get the offensive line's not good, but like still, man, feed him the ball. I mean, even when the game was close, he finished the game with 5 or 6 carries. Even when the game was close, he wasn't just getting the totes. That's the thing that just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like, I don't know what Chip's trying to prove. But it's a weird thing they're not giving him the ball. I mean, luckily Jetty's a good guy. I mean, otherwise, if he was, he'd be asking if he had any kind of diva in him, he'd be asking out. I mean, he's making a stink in that locker room. I mean, luckily he's a good dude. He's not raising a stink at all. But yeah, that doesn't make much sense. His utilization, and I want to know. Obviously, Dallas made a lot of moves before the trade or after the trade deadline with Quinn Williams and Logan Wilson, and they looked good yesterday. And I'm seeing a lot of these these hot take kings to say, "Oh, is Dallas back?" I don't know. I think I need to see another test with Dallas's defense, because I just think that the Raiders' offense is that bad that that you can't actually say after that game last night. So yeah, Dallas is back. But yeah, my brother's a Raiders fan, and he was texting me last night saying we need to blow it up, we need to fire everybody, we need to start from scratch. And I'm like, dude, really? Again, another year of this? So for me, it's like at least give. I mean, I don't know if it's like a nickname in the Raiders fan base, calling him Sleepy Pete. But he called him Sleepy Pete, and he's like, we need to fire Sleepy Pete. He's awful. And like, I want to ask you, like, I know you kind of said it, but I don't think you guys need to fire him. Maybe yes, get rid of Geno, a new star for your quarterback spot, and maybe contemplate trading Crosby and getting a haul for him. But like, I don't know if you fire a coach a year after 3 straight years of firing a coach. I mean, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. It sucks because right now we just got to swallow the pill. It's bad. It's easy to say fire, every single year, but I always give every coach a benefit of the doubt, at least 2 to 3 years, and if it doesn't get better, then move on from it. That's just how I am. The same way I was with AP last year. As much as he pissed me off last year, even with Josh McDaniels, I was like, okay, but. The last coach that we had more than 1 year was John Gruden, and it was slowly getting better. But then emails came out, and it is what it is. That's why I don't want to keep moving on. That's
emails came out.
Yeah, out of nowhere, dog.
Oh,
Emails,
dude.
No, yeah, the whole Gentry thing, yeah, that was frustrating. And like I get, because Chip Kelly talked about it before. He doesn't want to force feed him, especially if we're down in the second half and trying to come back. That's why I feel like this game was even more frustrating, because it was a close game early on, and we just continue to try to, like, they tried their game plan was to keep running the play action, but it doesn't make sense when you're not really running the ball and nobody's really respecting the run at the end. So it's just yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, all righty, fellas, let's go ahead and let's get into these Week 12 previews and predictions. Obviously, we have the Denver Broncos and the Chargers both on bye week, so we only got 2 games to get into. But before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to the other sponsor of today's video over at RotoWire, good friends over at RotoWire. There's only one place to dominate your parlays and your player props to make sure that you are winning money and not losing money, and that is with RotoWire. RotoWire is going to tell you the guys that they like for you to take the over and the under on every single week. For example, some guys they think that you should take the over on is James Cook, his rushing yards at 68.5 this week. They also think Puka Nacua take the over on 84.5 receiving yards. They do want you to take the under, though, on Shador Sanders passing yards, 162.5. These are just some of the lines that you can get on with RotoWire. Again, making sure that you are making money this year and not losing money. And of course, because you're watching us here at Roundtable Sports, we got an exclusive offer for you where you can get 15% off with RotoWire when using the promo code you see on the screen, RTS. Again, that is RTS, link in the description box below. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and let's transition on into these games. Of course, we have to start off with one of the big games of the week. Marcus alluded to it earlier on in today's show, to where if the Kansas City Chiefs want any hope at making the postseason, they're going to have to win out. And by doing so, they're going to have to beat an Indianapolis Colts team that just made a big trade a couple of weeks ago for Sauce Gardner. They're coming off of a bye week. And so, Marcus, what are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, so as I alluded to earlier, Colts have a bottom 10 pass defense. I think this is going to be a huge game for Pat, especially after all the critics and everything he's hearing this week. I think he'll have to put on the cape this week. But I do hope it's more of a balanced attack, because Atlanta, the Colts actually do have a good run D, but they don't have Buckner. And Atlanta, the game they played in Europe, I think it was a Germany game, like the game before bye week. Both Algier and Bijan Robinson went off in that game. Both guys averaged about 5 yards a carry against them. They didn't really pass that much, but Penix kind of sucks. But the Colts have a bad secondary. Sauce was there that last game against Atlanta. They didn't really do much through the air, but I don't know if that's more Penix problem than anything else. But they're bad against tight ends. I think Kelsey gets a healthy dose in this game. And I think not having Buckner is going to be a huge hurt them big time. So I do see a big game from Pat and Kelsey specifically this week. But defensively, I think we can pull a lot from the Atlanta scheme in that game. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor had like 400 yards rushing against them. And I do think our run defense is, other than the James Cook game, that was the outlier of the last 30 plus games a couple weeks ago. We'll be able to stop Jonathan Taylor, and I think that will be the game plan, to stop Jonathan Taylor and have Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones try to beat us. Atlanta, the last two games for the Colts between Atlanta and Pittsburgh, they allowed 12 sacks. Atlanta is a very blitz-heavy team, and they play press man, and that's a scheme that we like to play ideally with Spags, is blitz a lot and press the shit out of receivers. And I think that's the kind of game plan we'll go to. And yeah, I like our chances of stopping Jonathan Taylor. If you stop Jonathan Taylor, I think you send some pressure at Danny Dimes. I think we'll have this game. We need this game, so I'm taking us to win this game. We need it, so I'm all in on it. And it's also at home too, 4-1 at home this year. So
let's see just how clutch Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid are, because this really could determine their postseason chances. But Simone, let's go on over to you. What are your thoughts about the game?
I love the confidence, Marcus, because I think this is going to be a much better game for the Chiefs for sure. And it's going to be one of those games that, it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. But I just right now, I just think that the Colts are just real hot right now, and stopping Jonathan Taylor is going to be the biggest key for the Chiefs, and even trying to win this game. But I feel like the season that he's having so far, I don't even think that he could get stopped at this time of the season here. So I just got to go with the Colts on this one. But I think it's going to be an entertaining one and a fun one to watch, though.
Absolutely. So you have the Colts winning?
Yeah.
All right. So we got Marcus taking his Chiefs, Samoan taking the Colts. Ryan, I feel like I know where you're going to go, but what are you thinking?
I'm going to take the Chiefs.
I didn't know where you were going.
Well, because this game's in Kansas City, that's why. If it was in Indy, I would take the Colts, but I think there's a lot riding on the line, and the Chiefs got their back against the wall. They still have a little bit of that, or they still have not a little bit, more than a little bit, but like that championship background. and they're going to do everything they can to fight to get into the playoffs. And I don't think that they're going to go down that easily, especially after the game that they had in Denver last week. It'll be a little bit of a bounce back. And I went to the Colts game, and when Denver played them, and Marcus, you're right, like they do have kind of a skeptical secondary. It was like our second game of the season, and Bo was balling. And I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, that means they're really bad because Bo was balling, but like, we've had offensive struggles throughout the whole season, and early on in the season, we had a really good game against them, which is that combination of like execution and all that, and maybe our operation was just going smoother, possibly, but it does have something to say that. Like I think a lot of these Colts games have just been kind of like shootouts, and the offense really does pull them through these games. And I don't think the addition of Sauce Gardner was good at all. I mean, I call him Ahmad Gardner because he has no sauce, because he's just not good. And I can't believe people tried comparing him to Pat Surtain. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Chiefs on this one. But I really don't care who wins. I mean, if the Chiefs win, that's actually more beneficial to the Broncos because then they're in a better spot in terms of winning the AFC. They'd be one game up. But if the Chiefs lose, I don't mind that either because then they're done. They're most likely just done, and that's a little bit more selfish of just like, a whole decade of you guys dominating, and now you won't sniff the playoffs would just be, I think fun. Like it'd be nice to see for the entire NFL. But I'm gonna be watching this game, but I can't. I guess I'll kind of be rooting for the Chiefs a little bit, just because. Hey, some Broncos fans are gonna hate me, but I've seen us all have this conversation on X right now. We're allowed to root for the Chiefs this week, just this week, because there's Broncos commandments for Broncos country. I don't know if you guys seen this, and no Broncos fan shall root for a rival unless it benefits our playoff position. That is a fact. And the Chiefs winning would benefit the Broncos' playoff position. So I wouldn't mind it if they won this week because I'm sure that they may pick up another loss at some point down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, it would help you win the AFC, and so get that first round bye, home field advantage in the postseason. I mean, yeah, I think you can root for the Chiefs for 1 week.
Hey, we got our look back from last year. You guys are down bad now. Like, I'm not even gonna blame the last 10 years on you guys. We had Drew Lock. That was our fault. That's why that's why I was so confident last week. I said we played the Chiefs close for many, many years. We just didn't have the head coach to lead the team and the quarterback to make the right decisions, and now we do, and that's ultimately what's been getting us over the hump.
Well, let's go on over to James. James, what do you think about the game?
This is one of those games that I would like to see the Chiefs too lose. I mean, I just want to see them just kind of fade off and see you later, guys. Done with you guys. I'm over it. And I think the Colts will figure this one out. Now, once again, they are coming off of a bye week, so if the Chiefs have a chance to win this one, sometimes those teams coming off the bye week, they're a little sluggish. They're trying to get back into rhythm and everything too. If the Chiefs go up quickly on them, couple scores, that's going to shift the game quite a bit and force Daniel Jones to throw the ball and not really give us the ball too much on the run game side of things anymore. So Jonathan Taylor will kind of get thrown a little bit out of the game at that point. So I'm just going to roll with the Colts on this one. I think that they're a pretty well-oiled machine. Defensively, yes, they're a little bit susceptible on the back end of the defense, but Sauce Gardner's got some time to get a little bit more acclimated to the defense too. I think that'll help out a little on the pass defense. So I'll roll with the Colts on this one.
Mahomes has never dropped 3 straight regular season games before, so this would be new to him. And to drop it, so.
That would be crazy.
We're definitely about to find out. Feels like things haven't exactly gone the way for the Kansas City Chiefs so far this season. Could this boat in that direction, or is it going to boat in Mahomes' favor? Only time is going to tell. But let's go ahead and let's transition on into the final game here for the AFC West in Week 12. That is the Raiders, right? That is the Browns. Samoan, break this one down for us in the toilet bowl. That's what we're going to call this one. We're going to call this one the toilet bowl.
Hey, we're not on prime time, so it's good. We don't get embarrassed on prime time. But, hey, I mean, these are the games that I feel like the Raiders are actually going to be a little bit more competitive. I mean, the Browns is just as bad as the Raiders are. I know them having a new quarterback at the helm, Shedeur Sanders, out of all weeks, I feel like it was just written in the scripts that, you know what, we're just going to hold off Shedeur Sanders until the Raiders to get his first start. And the Raiders always struggle when they play against backup quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are debuting. And I don't have a good feeling that the Raiders are going to win this one. I think I think the biggest thing everybody's going to be talking about is how well Shedeur Sanders plays. I mean, in the last game, they threw him in. And I know he's been getting a lot of criticism, but, like, they still had a chance to win. There was a lot of drops. There were some flashes there. But I feel like the Raiders are, like, the perfect matchup for a guy like Shedeur Sanders. And I wouldn't be surprised if he went out there and lit it up. Now, I'm not worried about the defense as much as I am with the offense. So the offense is going to be the biggest key for the Raiders to possibly keep this competitive. It's going to be at home. We got the home crowd here. I doubt that there's going to be a lot of Browns fans traveling. It's going to be just one of those dud games like when we played against the Titans or the Jaguars, where it's just going to be going back and forth, and whoever makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win this game. But I have Shedeur Sanders and the Browns pulling this one out. And then this just kind of moves us up the draft boards a little bit. So, yeah.
Wow, how poetic would that be if Shedeur Sanders comes on into Vegas, looks really, really good, right? Like, man, that would just be poetic to me.
I'll be like,
you guys wanted him, and
I told y'all.
Yeah, you could go back in.
We got a generational running back, but yeah, it's all good.
We got a generation. I mean, you also could have just gotten the guy in the second or third round, but I guess
like Henderson was my number one running back, but
he's looking pretty good right now. 5 touchdowns, 5 days, but I guess that's a topic for another day. Ryan, let's go on up to you. What are your thoughts on this game?
You guys ever see those videos of like the villages in India? They're just like throwing shit at each other, and like that's gonna be this game.
Shut the fuck up.
like that's gonna be this game, man. 2-8 versus 2-8. Like
2-8.
No one wants to watch this bullshit. First of all, and I think it's gonna be a shit show. Like you said, a toilet bowl game. I think Shedeur is just gonna throw 3 picks, and Geno is just gonna be running all over the place. The O-line can't block. It's gonna be a bad game. I mean, there's really no incentive for either of these teams. Just really, actually there is. Maybe you can get a better draft pick, whoever loses. No. So that's what you guys should be fighting for, trying to tank right now. I just
want to beat LA. That's the only team I want to beat, and then we can lose the rest. That's okay.
Be my guest. Be my guest, because they are still kind of on our ass right now a little bit, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. So
ask Santa Claus, dog. Just give me that.
I think this is so tough because Shedeur, he didn't look great. He hasn't really had any starting reps as well for the most part during practice. I think he will play better in, like I said, I think he still will turn the ball over, just because NFL debut. But I think he'll also have some solid drives that he can put together, and the Browns will beat the Raiders. That's going to be my pick.
Browns are going to beat the Raiders. James, it's going over to you. What do you think?
And you guys already talked about it. This is the battle for the top 3 pick. And, for some reason or another, I feel like the Raiders will find a way to win this one just to screw it up for their draft reasons. And then what that's going to do is Cleveland's going to end up drafting like Mendoza, and then you guys lose out on another quarterback. For some weird reason, I think the Raiders are going to find a way to win this one. I do think that Myles Garrett potentially could have like a 5-sack type game type thing, and it could be a very, very messy game like that Broncos-Raider Thursday night game where it's just kind of a bunch of just nonsense going on the field, and it was just an absolute terrible game to watch. So I think the Raiders are going to screw their draft picks up coming up for the 2026 draft, and they're going to win this one. So oddly, I'm choosing the Raiders on this one. So let's go.
James is going Raiders. Marcus, what about you?
I'm going Raiders just strictly off the betting line.
There we go.
My God, Mark.
60% of the money. Yeah, I picked the Raiders last week. That was the opposite of that. 60% of the money line money is on the Browns to beat the Raiders. The Raiders are a 3-point favorite, by the way. And then 60% of the money is also on the Browns in the spread to cover the 3 points. I believe it's the lowest total point game of the weekend with 36.5. I feel like a lot of people the public's gonna take the Browns because they want to see Shedeur win this game. I think that's a lot of the betting public's gonna be on that. Yeah, I think the Raiders win. I think people look at what the Raiders have done the last few weeks and be like, no, I'm going to go with the Shedeur Sanders and the Browns.
Yeah, I also think it'd be very poetic just to see Shedeur win after the Raiders pass on him, and then they decide to go with Geno Smith.
Yeah.
And even if it's a messy game for him, I think it'd just be hilarious. How
Shedeur almost came back in that last game too, man. Like he almost had it. He almost had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited, man. Well, guys, this is where we kick it off to you. Let us know your thoughts about these games in the comment section below so we can look back next week and say, damn, good job. You were right. Or, oh, maybe try again next week because you ended up being wrong. But let's get into the remainder of these super chats. Lacey, we got Justin coming in here with a $2 donation. Justin Herbert himself, actually, who says, Jags make me sheep my helmet. Yep, a little
Only
little
$2,
reverb
Justin
back to what we
Herbert.
said
Come on
earlier
now. Come on now.
A little reverb to what we said earlier on in today's show. Tay comes in here with a $2 donation and says, Bo Nix is 0-3 versus Justin Herbert. Shut the heck up, Ryan. You're lame. Oh, all right.
Hey, man, we don't care about those little rivalries. We care about winning Super Bowls over here. You can have your little Justin Herbert, Bo Nix duel. We don't give a damn about that.
Here we go.
Oh, I just saw Marcus's face when you said Super Bowl.
Neither have Super Bowls.
No, I'm talking about Broncos fans. We care about Super Bowls. Like you can take that W. We don't care about that.
Okay.
I could care less about. That's sad.
Well, guys, look, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe here to the AFC West Roundtable so that you get notified every single time we post a video and every single time that we go live so that you guys do not miss an opportunity to get in on the discussion. On your way out, leave a big like on the video. Help support us here massively at the AFC West Roundtable, and it is completely free. But until next time, my name is Colby Cochran, host here of the AFC West Roundtable, a show brought to you by Roundtable Sports. We will see you guys next Tuesday, same time, same place.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, fourth and forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.